The greatest prison ever built is not made of steel bars. It's constructed from the opinions of others, and for years you've been willingly handing them the keys, allowing their words to define the boundaries of your own mind. This ends today. We are about to embark on a journey not just to understand Stoicism, but to install it as a new operating system for your mind. A system built on 5 foundational rules. These rules are not about becoming cold or emotionless. They are about becoming precise. They are the code that unlocks psychological invulnerability, a state of mind that 99% of people will never experience. This is the hidden knowledge that separates the man who reacts from the man who commands. Before we begin, I want you to write one thing in the comments below. What is the most ridiculous opinion you've ever allowed to affect your peace? Acknowledge it, and then we will learn how to discard it forever. Let's be clear about the world we live in. You are under constant evaluation. Every post, every project, every social interaction is a performance. Your life is judged by a faceless audience on a digital stage. This relentless pressure creates a specific kind of modern anxiety, a background hum of insecurity, a fear of misstepping, a quiet desperation to be approved of, or at the very least, not to be condemned. This environment is designed to weaken a man's resolve. It chips away at your core, making you dependent on external validation. The ancient Stoics didn't have social media, but they understood the core human weakness, the desire for applause and the fear of scorn. The principles they developed are more relevant now than ever before. They are not historical artifacts. They are weapons for the modern man navigating a battlefield of perception. This is your entry point. That feeling of frustration, of being misjudged, of being mentally exhausted by the noise, that is the very energy we will now redirect into building an unbreakable inner fortress. Rule number 1, the dichotomy of control. This is the bedrock, the absolute foundation of Stoic power, and it is brutally simple. So simple, in fact, that most people hear it, nod, and then immediately forget it. But the man who truly integrates this rule becomes untouchable. The rule is this: some things are within your control, and some things are not. That's it. What is in your control? Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, your character, your will. What is not in your control? Everything else: the weather, the economy, the past, and most importantly for our purpose today, what other people think, their opinions, their praise, their insults, their misunderstanding of you. These are external events. They exist entirely outside the borders of your mind. The fundamental error that creates all human misery is trying to control what we cannot, while neglecting what we can. A man who is worried about another person's opinion is like a sailor trying to command the wind. He is wasting his energy, guaranteeing his own frustration, and taking his hands off the rudder of his own ship. The first step to invulnerability is ruthless categorization. What is mine and what is not? So, how do you operationalize this? You must become a relentless sorter of experience. Imagine in your mind 2 columns. On one side, my control. On the other, not my control. When you feel the sting of criticism or the rush of praise, you must mentally pause. You must take that event and place it in the correct column. Someone insults your work. Where does that go? Their opinion, their words, their internal judgment. All of it goes into the not my control column. What goes in my control? How I choose to interpret their words, whether I learn from any potential truth in their criticism, my decision to remain calm and focused on my mission. This is not a passive act. It is an aggressive, disciplined mental habit. At first, it will feel unnatural. Your ego will fight it. It wants to control everything. It wants to argue with the opinion, to correct it, to win the other person over. You must starve the ego of this desire. The elite mind does not waste a single watt of energy on the uncontrollable. It focuses all its power on its own domain, its choices, its actions, its inner state. This mental sorting is your first line of defense. It's the gatekeeper of your mind. Let's dismantle a common myth. The myth that caring what people think is a necessary part of being a social, successful human being. Society teaches you this. It tells you to manage your reputation, to be likable, to build a personal brand. But there is a massive difference between strategic awareness and emotional enslavement. A wise man is aware of the opinions of others in the same way a pilot is aware of the weather. He notes it. He understands it may affect his journey. He adjusts his course if necessary, but he never, for one moment, believes he controls the weather. He certainly doesn't get angry at the clouds or feel personally attacked by the rain. The average man, however, is emotionally fused with the opinions of others. He feels the turbulence of their disapproval as a personal failure. He sees the storm of their criticism as an attack on his very being. The Stoic approach is not to stop caring in a nihilistic sense. It is to stop caring emotionally. It is to reclassify opinions from threats to my identity to neutral data points in my environment. This shift is the difference between being a pawn in someone else's emotional game and being the king of your own. Consider the immense amount of energy you will reclaim. Think of all the hours spent replaying a negative comment in your head, the mental real estate occupied by worrying about what a group of people might think, the emotional exhaustion of trying to please individuals who are never going to be pleased anyway. This is a massive, silent drain on your life force. When you truly, deeply internalize the dichotomy of control, all of that energy comes flooding back to you. It is a wellspring of power that you can now redirect towards things that actually matter. Your work, your health, your relationships, your purpose. Focusing only on your column is like cutting a dozen useless apps that were draining your phone's battery. Suddenly, you have the power to last the entire day, and then some. This is not just a defensive maneuver. It is the ultimate offensive strategy for a meaningful life. You stop playing their game of approval and start dedicating 100% of your focus to winning your own. And ironically, a man who is so powerfully centered in his own frame often gains more respect than the man who desperately begs for it. Rule number 2. Cultivate your inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius spoke of this constantly. He envisioned his mind as a fortified city, a place of ultimate safety and power that no external event could ever breach. This is one of the most powerful metaphors in all of psychology. Your mind is sovereign territory. You are its ruler. Opinions, insults, and judgments from the outside world are like an invading army. They can surround the walls, they can make a lot of noise, they can fire arrows of criticism, but they cannot take the citadel unless you, the ruler, lower the drawbridge and let them in. That is the critical point. Nothing and no one can hurt you mentally without your active consent. The sting of an insult is not the insult itself. It is your judgment about the insult. It is your decision to label it as harmful, unjust, or threatening. You are the one who opens the gate. The Stoic trains to keep the gate shut. He understands that the external world can affect his body, his property, his reputation. But his mind, his ruling faculty, is inviolable. It is the one thing that is truly and completely his own. Building this citadel is the primary work of a man seeking strength. How then do you fortify these walls? How do you build this citadel? It's not built with passive hope. It's built with active practice. These practices are the bricks and mortar of your mental fortress. The first is journaling. Each day you write for yourself. You analyze your reactions. When did I let an external opinion disturb my peace today? Why? What was the underlying judgment I made that gave it power? This act of self-reflection is like inspecting your castle walls for cracks. You identify the weaknesses before they can be exploited. The second practice is deliberate reflection on your principles. What do you stand for? What is your code? A man with a strong personal philosophy has high, thick walls. He knows what he values, so the shifting winds of public opinion do not move him. The third practice is a form of meditation. Not necessarily sitting cross-legged, but finding moments of quiet to simply observe your thoughts without judgment, to see them come and go. This teaches you that you are not your thoughts, you are the observer of your thoughts. This creates a space, a moat, between you and your emotional reactions. These are not glamorous activities, they are the quiet, disciplined work of a master builder. Let's be precise about what this citadel is and what it is not. A fortress is not a prison. This is not a call for emotional isolation. It is not about building walls so high that you cut yourself off from the world, from love, from connection, from feedback. That is the path of a coward. The Stoic citadel is different. It has gates. The ruler of the citadel, you, can choose to open these gates at any time. You can allow in constructive feedback from a trusted mentor. You can allow in the love and support of your family. You can receive information from the outside world, analyze it and use it to your advantage. The key is that you are always in control of the gate. You decide what comes in and what stays out. The weak man's mind has no gates. It is an open field where anyone can wander in, set up camp, and cause chaos. The man in a self-imposed prison has sealed the gates permanently, starving himself of valuable connection and information. The strong man, the Stoic, is the master of his domain. He is a secure yet engaged ruler. The ultimate purpose of the inner citadel is to create a space of unshakable calm. No matter what chaos is erupting in the world outside, a crisis at work, a conflict in a relationship, a public failure, you have a place you can retreat to, a command center where you are rational, poised, and powerful. This is your psychological home base. When you feel the pull of anger, anxiety, or despair in response to someone's opinion, you train yourself to retreat to the citadel. Inside, you can analyze the situation objectively. You can remind yourself of the dichotomy of control. You can consult your core principles. You can make a decision not from a place of emotional reaction, but from a place of calm strength. The ability to do this, to create that mental space between stimulus and response, is a superpower in the modern world. Most people live in a state of constant reaction. They are puppets and their strings are pulled by every passing comment and event. The man with an inner citadel has cut those strings. He is the only master of his own movements. Rule number 3. Premeditatio malorum. The premeditation of evils. This sounds grim, but it is one of the most powerful and liberating psychological tools ever devised. The Stoics were masters of anti-fragility. They didn't just hope for the best. They prepared, mentally, for the worst. And this applies perfectly to the fear of others' opinions. The fear comes from the unknown, the shock of the criticism, the surprise of the attack. Premeditatio malorum removes the element of surprise. The practice is simple. You deliberately, in a calm and rational moment, imagine the negative outcomes. You are about to give a presentation. You sit down beforehand and think, what is the worst that people could say? They could say it's boring. They could say it's unoriginal. They could laugh at you. A hater online could leave a vicious comment. You don't just glance at these possibilities. You sit with them. You visualize them. You feel the initial imagined sting, and then you ask the most important question, and then what? What actually happens next? The answer is almost always the same. You will be fine. You will survive. The world does not end. The practice strips the event of its terror. This practice is, in essence, a form of mental vaccination. You are exposing your mind to a small, controlled dose of the virus of criticism, so that when you encounter the real thing, you are already immune. Think about it. The first time a drill sergeant screams at a new recruit, the recruit is terrified. He freezes. By the end of basic training, the screaming is just background noise. He has been desensitized. He can function perfectly under that pressure because he has experienced it over and over. Premeditatio malorum is your personal boot camp for social pressure. By rehearsing the negative opinions in your mind, you rob them of their shock value. When someone finally does say the thing you feared, your mind's response is not, "Oh no, this is a catastrophe," but rather, Ah, yes. I was expecting this. This is scenario B. Now, on to the plan. It transforms you from a fragile victim of circumstance into a prepared strategist. You have already mapped out the territory of potential failure, and so you navigate it with confidence, not fear. Let's apply this with a concrete example. You're launching a new business or a creative project. Your biggest fear is public judgment, the fear of being called a failure, a fraud, a wannabe. Using premeditatio malorum, you sit down and write down the absolute worst-case scenario regarding public opinion. The launch is a total flop. No one buys. My friends secretly laugh at me. An industry expert writes a blog post about how my idea is terrible. Okay, it's on paper. It's out of the shadows of your mind and in the harsh light of reality. Now you plan. If that happens, what is my response? I will analyse the feedback. I will learn what didn't work. I will thank the expert for their perspective. I will start working on version 2.0. I will survive. I will not die. This process transforms a vague, paralysing anxiety into a set of manageable problems. The fear was a monster in the dark. By turning on the lights of rational premeditation, you see that it was just a shadow you can walk right through. It is critical to understand that this is not pessimism. Pessimism is the emotional belief that things will go wrong. Stoic premeditation is the rational acknowledgement that things can go wrong, and the strategic preparation for that possibility. It is the absolute opposite of the fragile modern mindset of positive vibes only. That mindset creates brittle people. When reality inevitably intrudes, they shatter. The Stoic, on the other hand, is robust. He is resilient. He has built his psychological strength in the training gym of his own mind, long before he steps into the real arena. He has prepared for the blows, and so he is not surprised when they land. He can take the hit, stay on his feet, and keep moving forward. This practice is about trading cheap, fragile hope for deep, unbreakable confidence. The confidence of a man who knows he can handle whatever the world and the opinions of others decides to throw at him. Rule number 4. Take the view from above. This is a profound imaginative exercise used by Stoics like Marcus Aurelius to instantly dissolve the ego and put petty concerns into their proper perspective. The practice is an act of guided visualization. You start by picturing yourself, right now, wherever you are. Then you begin to zoom out. See the building you are in, then the entire neighborhood, then the city, a sprawling map of lights and streets. Zoom out further, see your country, the continent, see the earth itself, a beautiful blue and white marble hanging in the blackness of space. See the solar system, with the earth just a tiny speck. Zoom out further still, past our sun, into the vastness of the Milky Way galaxy, with its 100 billion stars, and then see the billions of other galaxies in the known universe. Now from this cosmic vantage point, from this view from above, look back at that tiny, insignificant speck. And on that speck, find that infinitesimally small human being, you, and then try to locate the problem. Try to find the insulting email, the negative comment, the disapproval of a colleague. Where is it? It's gone. It has been reduced to its actual size. Nothing. The purpose of this exercise is to intentionally shrink your problems. Our minds are designed to magnify our immediate concerns. When someone criticizes us, our ego makes that event the center of the universe. It feels enormous, all-consuming, critically important. The view from above is a deliberate act of psychological recalibration. It forces you to see your personal dramas against the backdrop of cosmic immensity and geological time. That cutting remark that's been looping in your head, it is a puff of smoke in the wind. That social embarrassment you're dreading, it is a single grain of sand on an infinite beach. This perspective doesn't invalidate your experience, but it right-sizes it. It pulls you out of the claustrophobic closet of your ego and places you in the wide-open field of reality. It is almost impossible to remain agitated about what someone thinks of you when you are contemplating the silent, indifferent dance of galaxies. This practice is a direct antidote to the poison of self-importance. What is it that actually gets hurt by the opinions of others? It is not your body. It is not your rational mind. It is your ego. The ego is the part of you that constructs a story about who you are. I am smart. I am respected. I am successful. When an opinion comes along that contradicts this story, the ego perceives it as a mortal threat. The view from above is a tool for ego dissolution. From the perspective of the cosmos, your personal story is revealed to be what it is, a temporary, fleeting narrative. This realization is incredibly liberating. If yourself is not a fixed, fragile statue that needs to be defended, but rather a dynamic process in a vast universe, then the words of others lose their power to chip away at it. You become less attached to the narrative of me and more identified with the calm, observing consciousness that is experiencing it all. This detachment is not apathy. It is the highest form of mental freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of your own story. You must practice this regularly for it to become a default mental pathway. You can do it for 60 seconds when you wake up. You can do it when you feel a surge of anger or anxiety after reading a comment. It is a mental emergency brake. It stops the runaway train of emotional reaction. The more you visit this view from above, the more you will carry its perspective with you throughout the day. You will start to see the petty squabbles and social jockeying of daily life for what they are. A frantic dance of egos, desperate for validation. And you, having seen the vastness, can choose not to participate. You can engage with the world with a sense of lightness, a sense of perspective, and even a sense of humour. You understand the true scale of things. This is a profound source of inner peace and quiet strength. It's the knowledge that, in the grand scheme of things, the noise of human opinion is just that, noise, faint and far away. Rule number 5. Adhere to your internal scorecard. This is the final and perhaps most crucial rule for psychological invulnerability. After all the defenses are built, all the perspectives are gained, you need a new system of measurement. For most of your life, you have been graded on an external scorecard: your parents' approval, your grades in school, your likes on social media, your boss's performance review. Your life has been a performance for a series of judges. The Stoic makes a radical shift. He throws away the external scorecard and creates an internal one. The only judge that matters becomes himself, and the only criteria that matter are his own chosen virtues. Did I act with courage today? Did I act with wisdom and rationality? Did I treat others with justice? Did I practice moderation and self-control? These are the only questions on the Stoics' scorecard. The opinion of the crowd is irrelevant. The applause is irrelevant. The criticism is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the answer to the question: did I live up to my own code today? This creates an entirely new centre of gravity for your self-worth. When your self-worth is based on the external scorecard, you are perpetually unstable. You are a leaf in the wind, blown about by the ever-changing breezes of public opinion. One day you are a hero, the next a villain. You are in a constant state of anxiety trying to manage the perceptions of 1,000 different people. It is an exhausting, unwinnable game. But when you switch to the internal scorecard, you become a mountain. Your self-worth is anchored in something solid and immovable: your character, your actions, things that are 100% within your control. You could be criticised by the entire world, but if you can look in the mirror at the end of the day and know that you acted with integrity and courage, you can be at peace. Conversely, you could be praised by the entire world, but if you know you acted dishonourably, you will feel the sting of your own judgment. This is true self-possession. This is the ultimate liberation. You stop performing for an audience and you start living by a code. Life is no longer a popularity contest. It is a journey of character development. This is what it means to be a man of principle. His direction comes from his internal compass, not from the shifting winds of social approval. This does not mean you become a reckless jerk who ignores all feedback. A wise man still listens, he still learns, he still gathers data, but he filters all of that data through his own framework of virtue. He asks, is there truth in this criticism that can help me be more courageous, more just, more wise? He uses the external world as a whetstone to sharpen his own character, but he never confuses the stone for the blade. His value is in the quality of the blade itself, not in the opinion of the stone. This distinction is everything. It is the final key that turns the lock of the prison of others' opinions, allowing you to walk free. So how do you begin? You define your code. You actually write it down. What are your non-negotiable values? What does courage look like for you in your professional life? What does justice look like in your personal relationships? What does wisdom mean in your financial decisions? Be specific. This document becomes your constitution. It is the standard against which you will measure yourself. At the end of each day, you review your actions against this constitution. No one else needs to see it. This is not for show. This is for you. This is the conversation between you and your higher self. When you live this way, the opinions of others become, at best, distant noise. You are too busy with the important work of building your own character to be distracted by the chatter in the cheap seats. You are playing a different game, a bigger game, the only game that truly matters. And in that game, the only judgment that can ever truly touch you is your own. We have covered 5 rules today: the dichotomy of control to reclaim your energy, the inner citadel to secure your mind, premeditatio malorum to disarm fear, the view from above to dissolve the ego, and the internal scorecard to define your own worth. Do not see these as 5 separate tricks. See them as an integrated system, a new architecture for your mind. They work together to create a state of profound psychological freedom. The one ultimate truth that underpins all of this is simple. True power is not the ability to control what other people think of you. True power is the realization that you don't have to. Their thoughts are theirs. They are not in your world, not in your mind, not in your control. Your world is your choices, your actions, your character. Focus on that, master that, and you will have a peace and a strength that no opinion can ever take away. You now have the tools. You are the architect. Go and build your unbreakable self. Thank you for investing your most valuable asset, your time, with me today. If this resonated with you on a deep level, subscribe and join a community of men dedicated to this kind of strength. Now I want you to make a commitment. Which one of these 5 rules will you begin implementing with serious intent, starting today? Declare it in the comments below.